there was part of me that thought you can't keep these professional sports can't keep dumping on fans. Maybe they can. Maybe they can. Maybe it just doesn't matter anymore.
Jason, I want to make this point. I was thinking about this. The Utah Jazz have had some very good black players that had long careers there. Obviously, Karl Malone, Thurl Bailey, Darrell Griffith, Ricky Green, Antoine Carr, Darren Williams. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'll rescind this comment, but how many of those black players said, God, I hated Utah. I could not wait to get out. It was torture. I mean, honestly, a lot of them seem to kind of enjoy it, the peace, the solitude, the fact that it was the game in town. You had an exalted position. Now, maybe there were some incidents of road players, and I get it, that happens. But it seemed to me, by my recollection, most of the Utah Jazz mainstays who were black did not hate Utah or Salt Lake City. Or, in fact, I would say they actually enjoyed their experience with that franchise and city.
Keep in mind who those guys were. They were 21, 22 years of age when they arrived in Utah. These guys now are 18 or 19. These guys now are showing up with pockets full of money, bank accounts that are in much better shape than when Karl Malone arrived in Utah. And so there was a level of gratitude. Hey, I'm just in the league. They're paying me a bunch of money. This is great. I can do this or that for my family. Now, expectations now have all been elevated, and there's an expectation of the way they're supposed to be treated. And so these guys now think, hey, I want to be in a city where, I'm a 15-minute drive from some nightclub that will play that kind of profanity-laced hip-hop music that I love. And Utah, it's a bit more difficult. It's not this. It's the entertainment options, and particularly the entertainment that fits your worldview.
You're saying strip club. You want to say strip club? Just say it. There may not be strip clubs in Salt Lake City. Just say it, Jason. Just blurt it out.
There are, but they're not nearly as good as the ones in Atlanta or Florida. Yeah.
Well, the talent's not the same. Come on, let's be honest. Jeez, let's be honest.
I'm just saying. Right, and it's just different. And I've been to Utah a couple, 2 or 3 times for NCAA tournament events. I think I covered the Jazz Bulls series and would have to go to Utah. It's boring. And you reach my age and even younger than me, and it's like boring is good. But when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, boring is bad. And bad. Ace Bailey wants to go into a nightclub where everybody has to go through a metal detector to make sure they're not carrying more than one gun or a gun. And he wants the danger. He's Evel Knievel. And it's just a whole, I think it's tough for the Utah Jazz to sustain anything. And they've offered remember they've given Dwayne Wade a little stake in the team, trying to invite and make it more comfortable for the black players. I think it's tough. But even if Ace Bailey, with all the money the athletes make now, location really shouldn't matter because you're just a private flight away from anywhere you want to be. Even in Utah, you can get to Las Vegas and LA so quickly. It doesn't make sense to me, but to some degree it does. If I were 19, 20 years old and thought I was going to, hey man, they're not going to play Drake here at the club as often as I like, I might be, again, you're talking to an idiot that's made some really dumb decisions throughout his entire 20s. Steve, thank you. I got one more thing I got to handle on my own. As the WNBA turns. Enjoy your weekend, Steve. When we come back, as the WNBA turns, Caitlin Clark set out last night, and it did not go well for the Indiana Fever. I'll address that next. I've struggled with my health and weight loss most of my life, feeling sore, low energy, and having a hard time staying mentally sharp. But Relief Factor, it's changed all of that. I feel better, I move better, I think better. It's been a real transformation. And here's the thing, it's only $20 to try. If Relief Factor works for me, and I'm no easy case, it can work for anyone. Don't wait, call 1-800-4RELIEF or visit relieffactor.com. Be sure to visit and subscribe to Jason Whitlock Harmony on YouTube. I'm diving into politics and entertainment with a unique biblical perspective, distinct from Fearless, and hosting interviews with a range of guests. Share the word, and thanks for tuning in.
As the WNBA turns, starring Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, and other angry feminists. Brought to you by George Soros, Adam Silver, Kathy Engelbert, and the Global Elite.
All right, welcome back. I want to get into my daily dose of Caitlin Clark. I don't want to call it that's my Dion deal. This is As the WNBA Turns, the gayest soap opera on all of television. And last night, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hosted the LA Sparks. Caitlin Clark set out with a groin injury, kind of a mysterious groin injury. I have seen a clip at the end of their previous game where it looked like Caitlin Clark got knocked to the floor and came up a little wounded a tiny bit and kind of walked in a funny way. And so maybe it's all real, but there's part of me that thinks like Caitlin Clark needs a mental break. She's 1 of 23 in the last 3 games from three-point range. That's not a slump. That's a problem. That makes no sense. And there's people like, oh, she must be injured. She's playing through injury. That's why her shot's off. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying. She looks miserable on the court, and she should look miserable on the court because there is such an incredible headwind directed at her. Yesterday on the show or earlier this week, I said that, like, hey, she's getting the Jackie